Hello guys, I hope you're having a great day. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna read another poem by Sylvia Plath called Lady Lazarus, and it's a very famous poem by her. Before we start, let me talk about the title and the signification of the word Lazarus. Who is Lazarus? So Lazarus was a person who was resurrected by Jesus after he was dead for 4 days, and Sylvia Plath is kind of taking that male figure and returning it into a woman and signifying, or let's say, signifying herself as this Lazarus figure. Now, this time it's Lady Lazarus we are dealing with, not that Lazarus in the biblical sense. So she has likened herself to Lazarus, and she is the Lady Lazarus in the poem that we are going to read. Now, let's read it. I have done it again. Once, 1 year in every 10, I manage it. So, this is it here. What is it? Does it refer to? We understand this in the remaining parts of the poem, but if I want to give you a hint now, it's death. Or an attempt to death, let's say a suicide. She manages every 10 years to attempt a suicide, let's say, because we're not sure that she dies, so she manages to do it every 10 years. She doesn't die exactly, but she attempts a suicide. A sort of walking miracle, my skin bright as a Nazi lampshade, my right foot a paperweight, my face a featureless fine jewel linen. So I'm a sort of walking miracle, just like the Lazarus figure who was a miracle by Jesus who came back to life. I'm a walking miracle too. My skin bright as a Nazi lampshade. Now here I have to tell you something. This Nazi reference and this Jew word here, Sylvia Plath kind of associates herself with the Jews that suffered from the Holocaust a lot. So she is victimizing herself just as they were the victims of Holocaust, and she's kind of, let's say, sympathizing with that pain and likening herself to the Jews of the Holocaust. So we see a lot of, let's say, Holocaust imagery and Nazi Germany imagery in the poems, not just this poem, in Daddy as well, her famous poem. So my skin bright as a Nazi lampshade. What is this Nazi lampshade? So it's a story about the Nazi Germany that they used the skin of Jews to make lampshades in World War II. And she's saying that my skin is as bright as a Nazi lampshade. And my right foot a paperweight. So paperweight is something you put on the papers to avoid them from moving around too much, to put them in one place. So she's kind of here dissecting herself and saying that she's not a whole. She's talking about herself as in pieces, in parts. So my right foot, it has become a paperweight. My face is a featureless fine jewel linen, and she's, let's say, kind of saying that she has been murdered, we could say. Not exactly something that is suicide done by herself. It's like somebody has murdered her, and now the different parts of her are just everywhere. Her skin, her foot, her face, and these are her parts. She's not a whole anymore. Peel off the napkin, O my enemy, do I terrify. Now this napkin refers to exactly this cloth right over here that you can see in the background picture. The napkin that was on Lazarus when he was dead. So he had a cloth over him, and Jesus asked them to remove the cloth so that they could see Lazarus revived again. So peel off the napkin of my body as I have died, and now she's in a death state. Oh my enemy, do I terrify? Now why does she say oh my enemy? Because she wants to die, and the person who keeps bringing her back, or who keeps, let's say, finding her after her suicide, is her enemy, because they're not on the same page. She's trying to kill herself, and the enemy doesn't let her. Do I terrify? Now do I terrify you after this, after with how I look after I've tried to kill myself? Do I terrify you? Why does she ask this? Because in the next slide we can see that she says, the nose, the eye pits, the full set of teeth, the sour breath will vanish in a day. So the nose, the eye pits, the hollow parts of her eyes, and the full set of teeth, like reminding you of a skull. So she's saying, do I terrify you with this image of my face and my sour breath, because I was dead. I had sour breath, and this will vanish in a day because I have been resurrected. I am reborn again. Soon, soon the flesh the grave cave ate will be at home on me, and I a smiling woman. I am only 30, and like the cat I have 9 times to die. So soon the flesh that was decaying in the grave, that was eaten by worms in the grave, will come back to her, and be on her. The flesh will be on her skin, her bones, and she will be a smiling woman. She will, let's say, start that cycle again. So it's a cycle that happens every 10 years. So it's depression, then suicide, then she comes back to life, then she's a smiling woman until she does it again. I am only 30, so she has seen 3 decades and 3 suicide attempts, we can say, perhaps, or 3 death experiences. Like the cat, I have 9 times to die. So this is a very famous saying that cats have 9 lives. So she's saying that every decade I try to kill myself. Perhaps this is a little bit, let's say, the humorous part of the poem. I think the poem is humorous, kind of, and it's because of the irony that Sylvia Plath has used here. So she's likening herself to a cat, saying that if it takes 9 times for me to die, I will do it. And this bitter irony creates a kind of humor that you might it might put a smile on your face and say, oh, like the cat, she has 9 times to die and she will try all of them. But it's really bitter. Let's say it's not fun. It's not a fun poem. It's let's say a bittersweet one. This is number 3. So this time it's the third time. What a trash to annihilate each decade. So it's a trash to annihilate each decade. Each decade that goes by and she lives, it's a trash. It's a waste. And she says that those 3 decades that I have lived were trash. They were worthless. What a million filaments the peanut crunching crowd shoves in to see them unwrap me hand and foot, the big striped tees. Gentlemen, ladies, these are my hands, my knees, may be skin and bone. I may be skin and bone, nevertheless I am the same identical woman. The first time it happened I was 10. It was an accident. So I read this because of the enjambments. The enjambment means that you have to go from one line to the next, and it continues. But let's go back from the beginning. What a million filaments. I think she's referring again to herself with the filaments. She's saying that I'm in parts. I'm in filaments. I've been shattered and I've been put back together. The peanut crunching crowd is the audience. Let's say it's like she's saying this is a show, and the audience here are watching me. I say that this is a show because later on in the poem she will say that it's this theatrical return that is important for her, and this theatrical return means that it's like a theater and the peanut crunching crowd are watching her. They shove in to see them unwrap me hand and foot, so they want to see her being unwrapped as she's coming back from the dead. The big striped tease, so taking that let's say napkin off of her face, teasing it and tearing it apart. Gentlemen, ladies, these are my hands, my knees, I may be skin and bone. So again, she's seeing herself in parts. I repeat this because she doesn't seem to be a whole. Never she say that this is me, I am back, my whole body. She's saying these are my hands, these are my knees, I may be skin and bone, nevertheless I am the same identical woman. So I come back from the dead. I have experienced this, but that doesn't mean that I have changed. I'm the same identical woman. Perhaps saying that I will do it again if it takes time, it doesn't matter. I'm the same woman with the same kind of thought process. I will do whatever I have done again. I will be resurrected again. I will die again, and that's what she means by the same identical woman. The first time it happened, again, this it refers to death. The first time her near death experience happened, she was 10, but it was an accident according to her. So maybe this wasn't the suicide attempt, it was just an accident. I think if we go to the context, we should know that it was a drowning incident. She was about to drown and she was saved from that. So it was an accident and she didn't die. The second time, I meant to last it out and not come back at all. I rocked shut as a seashell. They had to call and pick the worms off me like sticky pearls. So the second time, she meant to die. If I'm not mistaken, the context goes back to when she was in college and she tried to take some pills to kill herself. So she wanted to die and not come back at all. So she rocked shut. She shut herself inside the basement of their house. If I'm not mistaken, if you read the Bell Jar book, which is kind of a biographical book by Sylvia Plath, you will know that she tried to commit suicide in the basement of their house by taking some pills. So I was in peace as a seashell, and they had to call to me and pick the worms off me like sticky pearls. So this is a like a metaphor. So she was a seashell in the sea, in the basement. She was half dead, and in order to come get her back to life, they had to pick the worms off of her body like they were sticky pearls. They had stuck to her. Of course, this doesn't mean that she was trying to kill herself in the sea. She's just using a simile here, or a metaphor. Dying is an art like everything else. I do it exceptionally well. I think this is a very famous and very clear line. So she's saying dying is an art, and this is an art in which I am very skilled. I do it exceptionally well. Every time that I die, I do it. I have a performance. It's a theatrical show. I do it so it feels like hell. I do it so it feels real. I guess you could say I have a call. So I do it so it feels like hell. Perhaps we can sense a bit of masochism here on the side of Sylvia Plath, saying that every time I do it, every time that I die and come back, it feels like hell. But I do it again. You know, she doesn't stop the first time. So it's this masochistic tendency to kill herself, and it feels like hell every time. It does feel like hell. Trying to, I mean, imagine dying for some seconds and then coming back to life. That's you going through hell. I do it so it feels real, and this is an important line because she's saying that when I try to kill myself, when I try to die, this is when I feel real. This is when everything feels real to me. So I do it because it feels like this is the reality for me. This is my reality. I guess you could say I have a call. So a call here is like being destined to do something. I have a call means that it's like I am being called onto by divine forces, or some forces that are like cosmic, to die every time. So I have a call. This is something that draws me to itself. It's easy enough to do it in a cell. It's easy enough to do it and stay put. It's a theatrical comeback in broad day to the same place, the same face, the same brute, amused shout, a miracle that knocks me out. So it's easy enough to do it in a cell. By cell, she's probably referring to a cell in a psychiatric hospital where she was hospitalized for some times. She could do it in a cell. It's easy enough to do it and stay put. So killing herself, it is suicide. So trying to kill yourself is easy for her. And now what's the tough part? What's the part that knocks her out? She says knocks me out. It's the theatrical comeback in broad day. So it's the resurrection that bothers her. And why does that happen? Because when you come back to life, you have to go back to your normal life after some time. You are in the hospital, then they release you, then you go back to your routine. So she goes back to the same place, to the same face, to the same brute. Perhaps by brute, if we read into the context, she means Ted Hughes, her husband, whom she had problems with at the time she wrote the poem. So or maybe By brute, she's referring to her illness, a mental illness, depression. You could read this in a lot of different ways. So, whatever way you read this, she comes back to the same life that she hated and wanted to run away from. And there's an amused shout by people, a miracle. Why? Because she has died and come back again. This is what knocks her out. This kind of invasion of her privacy, that people scream that, oh, it's a miracle that she's alive again and she's going to have to come back to her normal life every day. And that's what knocks her out. That's what perhaps makes her angry. That's what drains her. There is a charge for the eyeing of my scars. There is a charge for the hearing of my heart. It really goes. So she's saying, if you really want to see my scars, there is a charge. You have to pay something for it. So you have to make up for it by paying something. And for the hearing of my heart, it really goes. My heart really beats. It really goes is referring to the heart. But you have to pay something to see it. You have to pay something to hear it. She's talking to the audience. And there's a charge, very large charge, for a word or a touch or a bit of blood or a piece of my hair or my clothes. So again, she's saying, she's intensifying that imagery of her being in parts. So she's saying a part of my blood, a part of my hair, a part of my clothes, or a touch or a word. If you want those from me after I have been resurrected, because I'm a miracle, after I've been a miracle, you have to pay for it. So her doctor, her enemy. So her here is a German word for sir. So she's calling to her doctor, she's calling to her enemy. Perhaps these two people are her enemy. And why is that? Because they are the ones who keep bringing her back. And the doctor could be the doctor who brought her back to life, or her psychologist who kept her in a hospital. It could be either one if you go for contextual reading. But either way, something that is interesting is that they are referred to both as her, which is Sir in German. So these two are male figures. So from here on out, she kind of has this idea incepted in our mind that her enemies are men. It's the male figures that are perhaps bothering her, perhaps are her enemies. I am your opus, I am your valuable, the pure gold baby that melts to a shriek. I turn and burn, do not think I underestimate your great concern. So perhaps she's saying that after you resurrect me, my enemy, my doctor, I become your opus and your valuable. I become the pure gold baby. Because that kind of makes the doctor become the Jesus figure, if you think about it, because Jesus resurrected Lazarus. So the doctor resurrected Lady Lazarus, which is Sylvia Plath. So Sylvia Plath would be the miracle of the doctor, would be the opus of the doctor, would be the valuable of the doctor. So this is why she's saying that. The pure gold baby that melts to a shriek. So this is a simile to a scream. A shriek is a scream, saying that I melt away like a scream that fades away. I turn and burn, do not think I underestimate your great concern. And she's saying that, okay, I understand your concern for me. I understand that each time that I try to kill myself, you're worried about me. I know that hospitalizing me is for my own good. I know your concerns. Don't think that I don't know them. Ash, ash, you poke and stare. Flesh, bone, there's nothing there. So again, this ash brings back the Holocaust and the Jewish kind of imagery, because we know the Holocaust, well, the Jews were burned to death, unfortunately. So she's saying that you are the German who is poking and staring in my ashes after you have burned me. And flesh, bone, there is nothing there. Nothing is there because everything has burned. A cake of soap, a wedding ring, a gold filling. Now, these three again go back to the imagery of the Jewish and German Nazis. A cake of soap was, let's say, referring to the soaps that were created by the fat of the Jews that were burned. So soap is created by fat and ash. And she's saying that, I'm a cake of soap perhaps for you. I'm a wedding ring that has been left by the Jews. You know, their valuables, their valuable items that were um, taken by German Nazis. Uh, and this whole imagery is going back to the Holocaust. Her God, her Lucifer, beware, beware. So this is an interesting part for me, because again she says her God, her Lucifer. Again, she's referring to God and Lucifer both as male figures, and she's talking to both the good and the bad kind of, let's say, sides. God and Lucifer, both negative and positive. She's telling them beware, beware. Why is she talking to them like this? Perhaps because she's announcing her own entrance, saying that beware, I am either going to the kingdom of God, heaven, or I'm going to hell. Either way, I'm coming. After I've tried to kill myself, I'm coming to that region, and beware of me. Out of the ash I rise with my red hair, and I eat men like air. So this is the most famous part of this poem. I eat men like air. So out of the ashes that you have burned me in, I rise like a phoenix. This is a reference to the phoenix who kind of burns to ashes and then comes back to life, greater and younger. I rise with my red hair because she's referring to the phoenix. She's like the phoenix, and I eat men like air. So this eat men like air is a bit of a controversy, because you can interpret it in many ways. I will first tell my own, and then I will tell you what I've read in different sources. I eat men like air. For me, was like easily. You know, I eat men easily. I'm powerful. She's referring to herself as this transcendental creature that is going to devour men. That is going to perhaps break them apart, and break away from that patriarchy that controls her. I say the patriarchy that controls her because she refers to every enemy as her God, her Lucifer, her doctor, her enemy. So these are all male figures that are trying to oppress her, perhaps are her enemies. So she devours these men, she devours these male figures like air easily. But the other interpretation is that we can add a who here, men who are like air, and saying that she eats men who are pompous, who are full of themselves, who are perhaps worthless in her idea, and she devours those men. It's those men she has a problem with. It depends on you which interpretation you want to go with, but these two are the ones I've seen the most. So this was the last part of the poem. I hope you enjoyed watching the video. If you did, please like it and subscribe to my channel. And that's it. So hope to see you in later videos.